What if one decision could change your life forever? But it's true. Think about it for a second. Every single one of us faces moments in life where we're standing at a crossroads. Moments where we have to choose. Do we stay where it's safe and familiar? Or do we take the leap into the unknown? Today, I'm going to share a story about someone who made that leap and how it completely transformed everything. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Meet Alex. Just an ordinary person like you and me, stuck in a cycle that felt impossible to break. Every day was the same. Wake up, go to a job he hated, come home exhausted, and repeat. He wasn't living, he was surviving. Deep down, Alex knew he wanted more out of life, but fear and self-doubt held him back. What if he failed? What if people laughed at him? What if he wasn't good enough? It wasn't that Alex didn't have dreams, he did. He wanted to start his own business, travel the world, and live a life that felt meaningful. But whenever he thought about those dreams, his mind was flooded with all the reasons it wasn't possible. Bills to pay, responsibilities to handle, and that nagging voice that kept whispering, "You're not cut out for this." Day by day, the weight of regret started to grow heavier. He could feel time slipping through his fingers, and the thought of living his entire life like this terrified him. But little did Alex know everything was about to change. One ordinary evening, Alex found himself sitting alone in his tiny apartment, staring at the same blank walls he'd seen for years. But something felt different that night. He couldn't stop thinking about a conversation he overheard at work. A colleague mentioned how they had taken a risk, followed their passion, and now lived a life they loved. It stuck with him, like an itch he couldn't ignore. So Alex pulled out a notebook and started writing. He wrote down every dream he had buried, every fear holding him back, and every excuse he had made over the years. By the time he finished, one question stared back at him from the page. What if I gave myself a chance? It was terrifying. The idea of leaving his comfort zone, risking failure, and starting from scratch made his heart race. But Alex knew he couldn't stay stuck forever. And in that moment, he made a decision that would change his life. He promised himself this: no more excuses. Starting tomorrow, I'm taking action, no matter how small, no matter how scared I feel. That night, Alex went to bed scared, but also hopeful. For the first time in years, he felt like he had taken control of his story. The decision was made. Now it was time to face the journey ahead. The next day, Alex woke up with a new sense of purpose. He didn't quit his job immediately or jump into his dream business overnight. No, the journey wasn't that simple, but he made a commitment to himself. Every day, he would take one small step toward his goal. No matter how hard it seemed, he would move forward. At first, the progress was slow. The fear was still there, lingering in the background. Alex spent countless nights reading books on entrepreneurship, learning new skills, and researching how to get started. He faced setbacks, moments where it felt like he wasn't getting anywhere. There were days when it seemed like the dream would always be out of reach. But he kept going. One of the toughest moments came when he had to make a choice: stay in the security of his current job or take the leap and risk everything. Alex was scared. What if he failed? What if he lost everything? But instead of letting fear control him, he remembered his promise. No more excuses. So, Alex made the leap. He started small, working on his business in the evenings and weekends. It wasn't glamorous, there were no guarantees, but every time he took action, no matter how small, he felt a little closer to the life he envisioned. Slowly but surely, things started to shift. People took notice of his work. He gained confidence in his abilities. And most importantly, he stopped doubting himself. The journey wasn't without struggle, but with every obstacle, Alex learned and grew. And little did he know, each small step he took was building momentum for something bigger than he could ever have imagined. Months turned into years, and Alex's life began to look completely different. The business he had once dreamed of was now a reality. What started as late-night work in his tiny apartment grew into something he could have never imagined. A thriving company that gave him financial freedom and a sense of purpose. But the transformation wasn't just about the success he achieved. It was about the person he became along the way. Alex was no longer the man who doubted himself, who feared failure, or who let excuses hold him back. He was confident, resilient, and full of life. He had taken control of his future, and in doing so, discovered a version of himself he didn't even know existed. Alex also realized that the true reward wasn't the money or the recognition. It was the freedom to live life on his terms. He traveled to places he had only seen in magazines, met incredible people who inspired him, and most importantly, proved to himself that he was capable of more than he ever believed. One day, as Alex looked back on his journey, he thought about that single decision, the one moment when he chose courage over fear. That decision didn't just change his career, it transformed his entire life. And the best part? It wasn't some grand, dramatic move. It was simply choosing to take that first step, and then another and another. That's how everything changed. Alex's story is proof that one decision, no matter how small, can completely transform your life. It's not about having all the answers or knowing exactly how things will turn out. It's about choosing to start, even when you're scared, even when it's uncertain. Right now, you might be standing at your own crossroads, facing a choice that feels overwhelming. Maybe it's starting a new project, pursuing a dream, or simply breaking out of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, remember this: the life you want is on the other side of fear. So, ask yourself, what's one step you can take today? Because sometimes that one step is all it takes to begin a journey that changes everything. The question is, are you ready to make your decision? Thank you for watching. Remember, life doesn't change in an instant. It changes when you make a decision and commit to it. If Alex could transform his life with one choice, so can you. If this story inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need that extra push today. And if you're ready to take charge of your journey, hit that subscribe button and join us here on Path to Progress, where we're all about helping you unlock your true potential. Your next step could be the start of something incredible. Until next time, keep moving forward.